Hello, I'm Dr. Stephen Andrew Missick. I'm running for Texas State Legislature in HD 18. I pastor a church, King of Saints Tabernacle, here in Cleveland, Texas. My residence is in Shepherd, Texas. And I'm running to represent the needs and concerns of this House district, which includes Liberty County, San Jacinto County, Hardin County, and East Montgomery County. And in this short video, I want to talk about my legislative agenda, things that I think that are very important. What we need from this district is this is a red district, this is a Republican district, and we need somebody who's going to advance conservatism and the Republican agenda in Austin. We don't have it right now. We currently have a state representative who constantly and consistently he puts on his signs, he's a conservative Republican, but he always is throwing in his lot with the Democrats in Austin, and he obstructs the conservative agenda, and he enables and empowers the Democrats and supports their agenda. We need change. We need change. We need somebody who's going to represent our values, Texan values, in Austin. We don't have that right now. So I want to talk about what my priorities are. And number one is to be a reliable conservative and Republican vote. I care about people. I want to serve the community. And I believe that conservative principles and Republican values empower our citizens to succeed. That's what I want to do. I'll work on passing pro-life legislation to protect the unborn. I know that it's become a contentious issue after we finally, thank God, we overturned Roe versus Wade, and this has mobilized the pro-abortion forces. But we have to stand on righteousness and goodness and not compromise our principles. I believe in life. I believe in the sanctity of life. I believe that human beings are created in the image of God. And Ernest Bales, when he campaigned his first term in office, he's like, I'm a fiscal conservative. That's what he said. That's what Bales was saying. And I'm pro-life. Goes to Austin, he began supporting pro-abortion legislation. And to me, this is a very important issue, and we need to stay true to the truth of the Scripture that mankind, men and women, are created in the image of God. Life is sacred. Cannot take a life away. So I'm not going to compromise my pro-life values. I'll work to pass school choice to give parents alternatives to children, for our children to succeed. Some people are confused about what school choice is, and what it means basically is that the funds follow the student. Right? I'm sure that most parents are going to choose to have their children in the public schools. That's fine. That's their prerogative. We need to support our schools. We need to support our teachers. But with school choice, parents can choose to use that funding to send their children to a private school, to a Christian school, or they can use that funding for homeschooling. And for instance, in Shepherd, our students there, only 25% of our students are doing math at grade level. So it's a terrible failure. And like I said, we need to set up our children for success. But part of that means giving parents the alternative so that their students can succeed. We don't want our kids trapped in failing schools. We need to empower our students and empowering our parents to have more options available so that they can maximize their potential. And Bales he supports the left-wing extremist groups known as the teachers' unions, and he wants to. If he's supporting the teachers' unions, he's supporting everything they represent. Drag queen story hours. As far as sending the FBI to attack parents who express their concerns at school board meetings. There's a problem with our teachers' unions. I wish that wasn't the case. I really wish it wasn't. But the fact of the matter right now, the most reliable organizations that mobilize and give money to the Democrat Party are these teachers' unions. And we need to put the interest of our student above the interest of these teachers' unions. And his extreme support for the teachers' union show that Ernest Bales is not a conservative Republican. He's a left-wing progressive Democrat that's running on the Republican ticket. This is shown by his fervent, fanatical support of the left-wing radical extremist groups known as the teachers' union, and how he supports Democrat agenda and policies and furthers their legislative priorities, not the Republican parties in Austin. So education is important. We need educational reform. Because of Bales, we were not able to have school choice. School choice, they have it in Arizona, and it's benefiting the public schools and benefiting parents who opt out and to choose other choices for their students, their children. So it's a success story in Arizona, and we need that type of success here in Texas. And Fox News is like, Ernest Bales torpedoed school choice, depriving parents of these opportunities for their students, their children. We need someone who's going to defend basic freedoms, freedom of speech. It's distressing, it's depressing how in our country now, I remember a few years ago when, of course we got a generation of children who just grew up with, the internet and cell phones and all that, but I'm an older generation. And the promise of the internet, we live in a new age, the age of information. It's exciting, a new frontier. And now they have all this censorship going on. Who would have imagined that, we were deprived of our First Amendment rights? And people would say, well, these tech companies, they can do whatever they want. They can't do whatever they want. They can't take away from us our constitutional liberties as they have. And also, because the Twitter files and even the Facebook files, it shows that we have evidence the FBI is telling the tech organizations, the tech tyrants, who to censor, who to shadow ban. And we need to have someone out there who can defend our basic First Amendment rights. No one, and people, these companies do what they want. They cannot do whatever they want, and we cannot tolerate or allow. Will we allow a foreigner to come in and take our First Amendment liberties away from us? No. But we're going to allow Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, these fiends to do that? I'm not going to put up with it. Now, it's affected me. We need more free speech. Dialogue, debate, discussion. That's the way to move forward. We have the Democrat Party closing it down. Freedom of speech is important. Freedom of religion is important. It kind of disturbs me to see that people don't value freedom of speech or freedom of religion as they should. Thank God for now, people still value they don't care about freedom of speech, they don't care about freedom of religion. It stresses me. It's like, why do people care about, you're losing your freedoms of speech, or losing freedom of religion? Why the indifference? Why the apathy? But they don't want to give up their guns, fanatical, and they're right. They're not right to not value freedom of speech and freedom of religion, but we have the right self-defense, we have the right to bear arms according to the Constitution, and we can't let these leftists and Democrats take that away from us. Now the Democrats are trying another approach where if someone attacks you and you defend yourself, that like Kyle Rittenhouse, they try to destroy you for defending yourself. So they're trying to disarm us. If that's the new avenue that they're going to take, we need to defend people who are exercising their Second Amendment rights. So if we need legislation to protect people who are just defending them, I think we have a Texas soldier who's attacked by Antifa, and he's prosecuted in Austin unjustly. Governor Abbott is working a pardon for that veteran. But we need to make sure that it shouldn't happen here in Texas especially. Something like that shouldn't happen when raving mobs of violent left-wing extremists and fanatics are attacking law-abiding citizens. You have a fundamental right to protect yourself, and we need to protect our military heroes who shouldn't be victimized like this. So if the liberals are taking new approaches to try to disarm us, then we need to react to protect our fundamental constitutional liberties. Another important issue is we need to reduce our onerous and excessive property taxes that we pay. If we can't have reasonable property tax rates, if we can't stop this, people trying to tax people off their property, excessive, exploitative, onerous taxation of property taxes, if these people around Texas and government and in Austin, if they don't want to have reform where we have reasonable tax rates, then we should pursue the elimination of property taxes. This is our state, this is our country, and this is thievery. It's thievery, and it needs to stop. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Austin, and it's like, what can we do to reduce property taxes? And if they're not going to do it, then we have to say, okay, if you're not going to reduce property taxes to reasonable rates, because I want to pay my taxes and be, a good taxpayer, a good patriot, a good citizen. But if you're going to have these exploitative, oppressive, onerous taxes, and you don't want to have tax reform, then we need to abolish the property taxes. That's, if we can't get reform, then we're going to have to abolish property taxes. I worked for 3 years on the border with the National Guard. I will work to strengthen the border. And the governor and the legislator and the state senate, we're going to have to declare an invasion. Hopefully this next election finally start addressing the border. But that's what we have to do, is declare an invasion. That's why they stole the election from Kerry Lake. Because the way the Constitution is written, there's certain obligations that the federal government has to the states. And one of the obligations, which are not fulfilling any of the obligations really, is protect our states from foreign invasion. They're not doing it. They're actually facilitating a foreign invasion. And it's causing disasters for our whole country. Even these blue states, they can't bear the burden. They don't care about Texas and what we have to go through. Just a small portion of what we have to endure in Texas. They get New York, Chicago, and these cities are basically collapsing because of just being overburdened by illegal immigration. And these people, most of whom are making fraudulent, false asylum claims. We need to reform the asylum system. So these situations need to be addressed, and we need what we can to address them here in Texas and in Austin. We need to increase benefits for our teachers and for our first responders. Like I said, I'm not a friend of the teachers' unions because they're left-wing radical extremist groups, but we need to take care of our teachers. I've worked in education, it's a hard job. And just because I'm against these left-wing organizations, so-called teachers union, that doesn't mean I'm not supporting our teachers. I do support our teachers and the sacrifices they make. We also have cartel activity, Mexican drug cartel activity in our House district. And it's because Ernest Bales, my opinion, is he's transformed this House district into a sanctuary district. And he's allowed the Mexican drug cartels to set up shop. And I came home one night, and there's a man running around killing children, little boys, trying to kill babies, killed women, killed a man, a mile from or so from where I live, or my church is. And I guess, who knows where this guy could have been? I came to the church that night. What if I went to Shepherd? I mean, coming to the church that evening, as I did, that man could have come onto the church property. He was very close to where the church is. And why is this man here? This man is obviously a member of the Mexican drug cartels, because we have the largest Colony Ridge, Terrenos, Houston, the largest hub of human, drug, sex, and child trafficking in the nation. And I was there at a meeting when Ernest Bales said that he's working in Austin to support Colony Ridge and Terrenos, Houston. And look what's happening to these people. What's happening to our House district here. It's exploiting people and harming our House district. So what's the solution? When I'm elected, I'm going to go to the law enforcement. It's like, what do we got? all this cartel activity. Can you handle it? Do you need help? I'm not going to have cartel activity in my house district under my watch. I'm not going to put up with that. We're not going to have it. Maybe Bales doesn't mind it. I'm not going to, especially this guy could have, I came to church, that guy could have come and shot me. Very close to my church. We're going to eradicate the Mexican drug, when I take office, we're going to eradicate the Mexican drug cartel in this area. If they're making investments here, financial investments, there's discussions in the legislature of declaring the cartels terrorist organizations. Anybody who's supporting or involved with these organizations, these terrorist organizations, needs to be held accountable to the law. And I want to mention, a few years ago, I've been to Iraq twice for the war. We saw the atrocities of ISIS. These Mexican drug cartels, they do these heinous actions like decapitating people and mutilating bodies the way ISIS did. The news media doesn't want people to be informed about how bad the Mexican drug cartels are and what they're doing. That's, they have these left-wing agendas. They're trying to propagandize people. That includes misleading people, but also involves withholding information the public needs to know. And that's what the media does. And sadly, Fox used to be better. It's not anymore. But this is a danger. These are very dangerous organizations. And they, like I said, Ernest Bales might not care that we have cartel activity. He might not have a problem with human trafficking, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, child trafficking. We need to tell him, God's children are not for sale, Mr. Bales. I'm not going to have it. We know what the cartels do. I watched the movie The Sound of Freedom, and I'm not having that in our House district. When I'm in representing our counties in Austin, I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to have it. Like I said, Bales might think it's okay to have mass murderers, mass shooters running around our community, just indiscriminately killing people left and right, killing children. But that's not something that I'm going to tolerate. And that's why we need new leadership. His sanctuary county or district, his sanctuary district policies are imperiling all of our lives. This isn't a joke. I don't understand why anybody would support Ernest Bales. Oh, I went with him I was with him in high school. He needs to be held accountable for supporting. He lied to his constituents. Says he's pro-life, and then he votes, or he's supporting abortion legislation. The only reason why he's not doing that now is because he was exposed by Texas Right to Life. It's all documented. He helps Democrats maintain power in Austin. He obstructs the Republican agenda. He facilitates the advancement of the Democrat agenda. Just run as a Democrat, Mr. Bales. So, Colony Ridge in Terreno, Houston. Is Colony Ridge, Terreno, Houston complying with the law or not? What's going on with cartel activity over there? Are they involved in that? Are they engaging in pollution? Wayne Dolcefino says they're, investigative report of Wayne Dolcefino, they're polluting, got human waste just pouring out in the streets in Colony Ridge. Shantytown going up. I've been there. I've seen it for myself. Environmental damage. They've created an unnatural flood zone. I was visiting the community, and I've slid off the road into mud and had to have two vehicles pull me out with these heavy chains because of what they did to the environmental damage over here. This is human waste and pollution, environmental damage, lack of drainage. These people are making campaign donations to certain politicians. It's a nice word, it's a euphemism for what they're actually doing. If they have money for these campaign donations, then they have the money and the resources they need to create proper sanitation, sewage, and waste facilities and repair the drainage. If they have money for campaign donations, then obviously they have money to correct and repair all the damage they did. So, we need to ensure that Colony Ridge, Tyrannus, Houston is complying with the law, not engaging in pollution, environmental damage, or exploiting vulnerable people. I worked on the border. I believe in law. I believe law needs to be enforced. And I believe immigration law needs to be enforced. But to exploit vulnerable people is morally wrong, and people who do such a vile thing need to be held accountable. And they're also placing a very heavy burden on the citizens of this community. We need change now. People are giving up. People have lived, their families have lived here for generations, being forced to leave, including some people who went along with all of Bales' schemes. Oh, we need to support what Ernest Bales is doing in our community. And they can't take it. These people, they can't take it anymore. Because what's happening? The decline brought about by Bales' policies, his failure to protect our citizens, to keep our communities safe and prosperous. People are just giving up. I talk to people on campaigning all the time. And you know, it's like, I might have to move. And it's like, please don't give up on our community yet. Let's get Ernest Bales to move out of Austin and get somebody that cares about our community and our people in there to help us. We need help, and I'm not perfect. I'll do the best I can. And I don't like to see this environmental damage. I don't like to see pollution. I don't like to see people exploited. I don't like to see our lives imperiled by cartel activity. There's a lot of other things that I'm concerned about, and other needs and concerns that we need to address in Austin. But I am a conservative Republican. I believe in our Constitution. I believe in America. I believe in Texas and our values. I believe in the Bible. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in traditional Christian morality and the family. And those are the values that I'm going to fight for in Austin. So if you're interested in supporting my campaign, having services every weekend, we have Saturday services at King of Saints. And we have a midweek service here at King of Saints Tabernacle. And I want to invite people to come in, just have a 30-minute service on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, where people can meet me, they can talk to me, and we can pray. It's time to pray for our country, our state, and our community. Because I believe in the power of prayer. Prayer is important, but we also need to go out and stand up and advocate and advance our values as well. So please vote for me. The big day is March 5th. And one of the other things I'm concerned with is we need to make sure that we have voter integrity. So I'm working on going through the voter rolls and making sure that the voter rolls are accurate, because I am very concerned that they're vulnerable to exploitation. People can exploit the inaccurate information in the voter rolls, where a lot of the addresses there are not correct. A lot of the people there no longer live in the area, or they're deceased. And we need to have clean, free, and fair elections with integrity. And I'm also working on that issue as well. So just ask that I got all these flyers and material on my Facebook account. I've got my push cards that I post online. Some people have shared those. So if you're able to share these push cards, these memes I've posted, I'm exposing Bales for his legislative record, his policies. And I'm also talking about who I am, what I believe. And I also want to mention that I support President Donald J. Trump. And this upcoming election, in the primaries especially, is going to be about President Trump. And we need to get rid of rhino candidates like Bales. It's like, how do we get in this mess that we are in as a country. It's because of rhinos. And we still have them. Mitch McConnell, people like him. Engineering decline, just like Bales. Bales is typical of a rhino. What do? They campaign as, I'm a true conservative. He goes to Austin and he votes with the Democrats. Lies to his constituents. Term after term after term. That's got to end. We need MAGA candidates who are willing to stand up for our Constitution, stand up for our nation, stand up and push back against the socialist, Marxist, anti-freedom, anti-constitutional, anti-American agenda. And we need men of courage. I am a veteran. I've gone to a war zone twice. And maybe that's what we need, is somebody who's willing to, somebody who's fought for this country, somebody who's willing to take hostile fire for our country, as I have. And a man of courage and principle, which I aspire to be, to fight for the Texas values that make us strong. So I have these various social media platforms where you can watch these videos. Not all the information, the information I put out is political. I have a lot of Bible teaching, historical lectures and things like that, but all my political information will be up as well at my YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and other social media accounts. So please support me so we get a real fighter for conservative values in Austin. Thank you, and God bless you.